Hi, my name is Becca. Welcome back to Raising Them Simply. Here we share all about our secular homeschool as a family of 5, and today we're going to be chatting about our spectrum spelling that we've been doing for my current second grader. So if you are new here, I have a second grader, a preschooler, a toddler, and another one on the way. I'm also a part-time working mom as a nurse, so this channel is all things homeschool and how we make it work for our family. So if any of that interests you at all, please hit that subscribe button so you're notified of future videos. But let's jump into it. So a little backstory if you are new here. My second grader has dyslexia, and it took us a long time to get us to being at a level where we were reading very comfortably. And because of that, we delayed certain things when it came to our ELA. Not that we wanted to push spelling or anything like that sooner on him. I take a more relaxed approach when it comes to some of that stuff, more like Charlotte Mason-ish. So we weren't going to do spelling in kindergarten or anything like that, but that's just a little backstory for you guys in case you are new here. At the beginning of our school year, we were using Spelling UC. That did not work for us at all. My son is reading at a 4th grade level now, but because he was not doing spelling, we had to start at a much lower level than what he thought was appropriate for him. And in his words, he thought it was too babyish. He did not like the copy work that they chose. He didn't like that it was nursery rhymes. He didn't like that they were making him want to just write the different letters or anything like that. He didn't like any of that. I also didn't like how there was much review, because if he spelt a word wrong, you did not go back to it, which seemed a little counterproductive for me, because if he spells it wrong, he should be practicing that more. That's just my opinion. So we quickly stopped using that curriculum. Then what we did, and what we are still doing, we're still using this. I've talked about this in a video previously. I will link it down below for you guys. But I found this spelling curriculum on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's from Smart and Special Teaching, but it is a spelling curriculum meant for kids with dyslexia. And this talks about word families. It talks about the differences between vowels and consonants, and how you can tell the difference between those by the shape of your mouth, and word families and chunking and stuff like that, in a way that really helps a child's brain who has dyslexia to remember those patterns. My son loves this. He still asks to do this, and so we continue to do it. But he said, "Mom, I just want you to tell me what a word is, and then I spell it." He was asking for a more traditional spelling approach. And to be honest, that was something that I did not even consider, because myself, I am a terrible speller. I always have been. I would often get very frustrated because I would be told to sound out the word, but that didn't work for me because it was not taught to me that way. And so it was hard for me to figure out which letters or letter chunks were for each sound and all of that. So with my son having dyslexia, I figured he might have some of the same challenges that I do, but he said he wanted something traditional. So I started doing some research, and I found this Spectrum spelling book for 2nd grade. Guys, this is hitting all the marks for us, and so that's why I wanted to talk about it. It is very open and go. It is very easy. It was only a couple bucks on Amazon, so you can't beat that. And they have a bunch of word games and stuff like that in here that really do help those words kind of stick into my child's brain when we're doing it between this and the other curriculum. So I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys a little bit about this curriculum and how we make it work, because we do things a little bit differently than how this curriculum sets it up. So when you open up to a lesson here, I'm going to find one that we have not done yet. So this is for one of the lessons here. You get a word bank of spelling words, and so this one is working on the k sound at the end of the word, and it says that when there is a k sound at the end of the word, it is often spelled with a CK. Now, I do not read that part to my son. What I do is we don't do tests in our school, we do challenges because they seem more fun when we word it that way. So when we start a new lesson, we do a challenge. And I have this kindergarten just lined workbook that I've shown here before for you guys. I'll link it down below if you need to, if you want something like that. But I open up to a blank page and then we do a spelling challenge. So all I do is that I read each of these words. I read the word twice and I use it in a sentence and he tries to spell it. If he spells it correctly, we move on. It's not a big deal, and I know that we don't have to review that the next days. If he spells it wrong, then we go ahead and review it, and I'll explain how we do that in just a moment. I don't give him whatever spelling tip is up here because my son does read at a 4th grade level. He very well already know in his brain, well, I know that sock is spelt with a CK because I've read that word 100 times. I just want to see what his base knowledge is, and then we go from there. So any words that he gets wrong, then I will explain the spelling tip to him and I will spell it correctly for him, and then he has to go back and write that word down however many times. Sometimes it's 10 times, sometimes it's 5 times, just whatever we have for that day and however much practice I feel like he would benefit from spelling it over and over again. That will be his first lesson of the day, and then we just move on to a next subject. If that's if he gets a bunch of them wrong or several of these wrong. There have been days where we've done this and he has spelt all of them right. So I don't worry about that, and because he got them all right, we will move on to the next lesson. If we are waiting for another day, any words that he gets wrong in every single one of his lessons, I have a running list of words that he needs to continue to review because I do not want him to forget them. And he will have to go in here before our next lesson and we will do another challenge. So I will list all the words that he has gotten wrong in all the previous lessons, and he will have to spell them. Once he gets them right 3 or 4 times, I remove it from that list, and then we do not review it much unless it comes up again in here. And they do have review sections in this book, which is nice, but that's kind of how we do that because I want to make sure that he's constantly reviewing words that he's gotten wrong. Now, this next part is they're doing a words in context. So they have a write the missing spelling words. So they have a little story with a bunch of blanks. They need to fill in those blanks with whatever word is in the word bank for spelling words. So they're getting used to writing in context and filling out this little story. These stories oftentimes are pretty funny, and so my son does get a kick out of them. And then this next one is that there is a word building. So this one says to add an S to each word to make the words tell you more, that it's more than one. So for one example, this says 1 pack, then you would write 2 packs. 1 chick, 2 chicks. So you're learning about plural words. Then that would be the end of that lesson. Then the next lesson we come to, we will do this again and we will write whatever words as another challenge to see if he's getting them correct. And as you could tell, he's getting more and more practice writing them down, and it's really helped solidifying those rules in his brain. For this lesson, it says fun with words. Each word below has at least 1 spelling word in it. Circle the spelling word that you find. So for the first one, it is chicken. The word is chick. So he would have to go in and circle the word chick within that word. The next one is picking. So he would have to circle pick. Then there's packer, snacking, sticky, backpack. So he would just go through and circle whatever spelling words are hidden within those. This next one is words across the curriculum. This is when they take words that are maybe in different parts of the curriculum that you might not have gotten to yet or you've already done. that fit this rule that you're working on. So this one is say each social studies word, then write each word. So you have lock, which has a CK, shack, clock, tack. So they just have to write the word down. And then write each social studies word next to the pair of words that it belongs to. So time and watch, you would write the word clock. Pin or nail, you'd write the word tack, and you'd go on from there. Most of the time when we do these spelling, once we do that initial day, my son is responsible for doing 2 pages. It just depends on kind of the capacity that he's at for that day and what day it's scheduled that we do this. But it's important to know that while he has this page open that has a list of the spelling words in case he forgets what words he's looking for or anything like that. So he does have that available to him. This one is words in writing. Write about some things you might see and do on a farm and use at least 3 words from the box. Now my son is not writing sentences yet, and I don't want to push it. It is something that we are starting to work on because in 3rd grade, we are going to be doing Hearth and Story, which I have mentioned here before, and he will be learning how to write a paragraph by the end of the year. So it's something that I do want us to work on. We are using the Spectrum Language Arts curriculum as well. If you do want a video on that, let me know, leave a comment down below and we can do that. But for now, what he's doing is I'm just having him read it to me and then I write down the sentence. He just has to use the 3 words from the word bank correctly, and then I write it down for him. And then this one is probably his favorite exercise. It has a misspelled words. So he has to read, it says, read the student's list of jobs she does on her farm, circle the 5 misspelled words, then write the words correctly on the lines. So the first one is feed the flock of ducks and the chicks, but it would be flock and then chicks is spelled incorrectly. So he would have to go in and circle those and then write the words correctly on the line over there. He just loves searching for the mistakes. He just gets a kick out of it and fixing it. So that is probably his favorite exercise in here. But I love that there is so many different ways that they're incorporating these words to really solidify these. And then, like I said, when we combine it with doing our spelling challenge at the beginning of every lesson, it really does help solidify those things. And I am noticing his confidence grow a lot more in his reading as well as his writing in his personal time. And then it moves on to the next lesson. And that is kind of how it's set up for every lesson in here. This workbook has been worth every single penny. I wish that we would have done it sooner, but I'm glad that we're starting it now. I was nervous because we did not start a spelling sooner, that maybe this would be a little too advanced for him. But honestly, this is meeting the mark for him because his reading level is so much more higher than what his grade level is at. When I looked at the 1st grade workbook from Spectrum, it would have caused him to be way more frustrated because it would have been way too easy for him. So I am glad that we started it with this. And I love all the multi-faceted approach when it comes to the spelling here. If you have a more hands-on learner, I could totally see you doing this with letter tiles or something like that and using it more orally, the way that than having to write everything down. But this is working really well for us, and I honestly wish that we would have started it sooner. It's been a really great fit. I was a little nervous doing workbook stuff because my son's not really like a worksheet kid, but I'm noticing that when it comes to things like this, he enjoys it. It's more like map work and journaling and stuff that he doesn't really care for, but this is working really, really well for us. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of videos you like to see here on this channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what approaches to spelling are you taking and how they are working for your homeschooler. I would love to know. Hit that subscribe button. It is a free way for you to be notified of future videos, and it really helps support my channel, and I can't wait to get you guys next time. Bye.